Well, what's going on, guys? I thought I'd go over my favorite 4-2-1-3 now. This is, without doubt, probably the best attacking 4-2-1-3, arguably the most counter-attacking one. This is one of my favorites that I don't really release because this is the one where I would say you have to really know what you're doing. With this tactic, you could blitz anyone. If you're good enough, you can blitz anyone. It's the pure counter-attack. The reason why I say it is because you have the inside forwards as roaming. I've always talked about inside forwards roaming, but I've always told you the big caveat is they don't come back on the defensive end. They just stay up there. But that's why I like them. If you're asking me the best AI automatic movement you can get is some sort of player overlapping. So if, let's say you put this player on advanced forward, for example, something like this would be the best attacking movement, because what happens is this player on roaming, they kind of go in between the half spaces. Sometimes they drag along and they go out wider. They move into different positions. They have the freedom to maneuver. So the best AI attacking movement is with inside forward roaming, and is what I very much like. We'll explain that in a second as well. So inside forward roaming, definitely one of the best. I would say you ideally want plus. You can play with plus as an example, but to be honest, you ideally want the plus. Don't forget, you need a plus and high attack positioning for those players to move. At this stage of the game, it should be fine now. But remember, these players are not going to be able to defend. Now, I think for most people watching this, anyone that's somewhat decent at the game will know how to defend with a back four and 2 CDMs. You know, that's a lot of top tier players play. 4 players up front, the 4 defenders at the back, and the 2 CDMs holding, or the 2 centimeters. You're playing a 4-4-1-1. So you can get away with putting inside forward on both the left wing and the right wing. But what about the striker? Now, the striker, I use poacher. I've talked about it. Although I recommend most of the time advanced forward. You see me, I always talk about it. I always recommend advanced forward, but I always say I use poacher. Advanced forward is kind of like the best all around. If I had to give this tactic to anyone, would it work for the average player? Yes. But I really like the poacher movement. I just like the way the player makes the runs, the movements in behind. In my opinion, is much more attacking than advanced forward and much more superior. Is that people are used to the advanced forward normally, and that's why some of you may not like it. Same with Shadow Striker. These 2 players here is important to have a plus. To be fair, you could probably arguably go here with a playmaker plus. I think that's just fine as it is. But you want my honest opinion, you want that player to run beyond the striker. That's the whole idea. You've got one player running, these 2 players join the attack, and these 2 players do have the freedom in the final third, and that's why I really like it. Don't forget, inside forward roamings are only for left wings and right wings, so you can't do this with, let's say, in theory, a 4-2-3-1. Second variation where you have left mids and right mids. It's only exclusively a role specific focus for both a left wing and a right wing. Now, CDMs, I actually left one of them on roaming, one of them holding defend. This is actually a new thing that I changed. As I said to you, I've always preferred, well, I went with 2 holding. I really liked holding, but then I kind of stabilized that 1 deep line playmaker and then 1 on holding. I just tried holding roaming with defend. I honestly did it by mistake. I think I was rushing when I paused the game. You know, when you have a tactic or you get a red card and you're quickly rushing to change your tactics, I just let anything go. I think I had no more pauses left, and I actually very much liked it. Now, the player here I have is Militao. He can do everything. I got that evolution. He's got a 96 shooting, so I trigger him going forward. The 2 defenders on defend and defend. 2 of my favorite center backs inside the game. Goalkeeper on defend. I need to change his really on my second account. I need to change him. I've got the new Counterattack on my main, but I don't know if I like it. I mean, he's good, but I don't know if I'm 100% set in stone with him. The fullbacks. Now, you could technically go fullback balance, which is what I would recommend. You can go technically wing back, and this will make the formation more attacking if you lack the L1 runs. But again, releasing this like this, you're going to struggle if you don't know how to defend. Anyone, I would say, above rank 3 will have no issues. But anyone below that, you got to bear that in mind. So I'd probably say, just for the sake, because everyone copies these tactics and they don't really watch this segment of the video, or you might, but the mass majority don't, of course. It's better off to just trigger these players, so when they make the run themselves, it then pushes these inside forward players into the middle. So that's how you create the overload. Because think about like a traditional back 4, right? Let's say we've got a traditional back 4. What ends up happening is, let's say the back 4 is like this. And what happens is that these players basically run in between the gaps, and then you got these two players going into the middle, and then you got this player on the outside. So your opponent's defender's got to make a choice. Do you then go for the right back, or do you then go for the left forward? But this left forward, because on inside forward roaming, it makes those unique movements. Sometimes they shift even further along to the central positions. And that's why I really like roaming, is they take up spaces and they occupy spaces that they wouldn't readily do if that space is available and there's another player, for example, Mendy, in their position. So if you had Mendy down the wing, you triggered him and you had the ball in his possession, then Son would move. Try it. You'll see what I mean. That's why the plus is important, because the better attack positioning you have and the better plus you have, the better movement, the quicker movement as well in the transition. Now, if you're talking about the tactics itself, counter, the one to go with, as I mentioned. This is probably more of a counter-attack formation, if you're asking me. This is very attack-heavy counter-attack, but you have the two CDMs as a safety net. So if I had to really put this down into calling this tactic one kind of variation, I would say definitely it's a counter-attack system. And I would recommend balance for most people. However, I do use 70. The reason why I would say don't use 70 is because you don't have that midfield. There's going to be someone in the comment section. You'll see, you scroll down, you'll see someone crying, oh my God, I got no one in midfield. Because these four players are basically stay forward. A lot of the lower tier players were struggling getting the ball from midfield and bringing the ball forward. So the reason why I want to say is, with a higher depth, you could argue those players are a bit more further ahead when they're pressing. And sometimes that disconnect can kind of happen, make the situation be even worse. And when you want that play to happen, you want to make it happen, it doesn't exactly work. So you have to be very diligent. So the two CDMs, you've got people that can hold the ball and can move the ball and bring the ball going forward. If you've got the pain pass, even better. And you have to make use of the fullbacks, hence why they're on balance. That's why I would not recommend fullback defend. They're just too far back. You need them to help with your build-up play as well. And that's why I would say, if you are really struggling, you can put the cam on playmaker, but I feel you just lose the attacking presence. I don't mind foregoing the lack of the midfield, because the CDMs in possession, they're further. As long as you know how to get the ball to the halfway line, the CDMs will move up. The key is get the ball to the halfway line, get out the press with your wing backs, get forward, and then you can rotate the ball back to your CDMs. And outside the box is typically what you would normally do. Just bring the ball on the outside, your CDMs will be there, and that's when you'll find the best attacking AI movement for the 4-2-1-3. Now, that is basically it. Definitely one of my favorites. One I only really use if I want to play counter. I don't really play counter that much, to be honest. But kind of got back into it now. I kind of took a break from the 4-2-1-3, as you probably know. I was using the 4-2-2, my main formation. That is the code there. November hashtag capital Bravo, November capital Golf Echo 7 ukulele. I don't know why I said ukulele. What? It doesn't even make sense. Uniform, X-ray, and kilo. Oh my God, ukulele. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But letters as well. What can you do? But look, that is basically it. Don't forget, if you want to get better, FC comes from our Patreon series. Not only just for this FC, we talk about pressing. We've got a really good pressing video coming up soon. Preparation for next year and changing your gameplay as well. In fact, this is the best time for you to join to really become that better player, because there's nothing to play for. The best time for you to practice. I would say most people make the improvement in early on in the year and now, because now you don't stress too much. No major rewards to play for. Everyone's got good teams, and you can just enjoy the game and improve with real football IQ. No mechanic abusing. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.